and SOX, because anybody operating in or around California has to get into, there's a California privacy law. Yeah, California Privacy Rights Act of 2020. Nothing like being up to the minute. CCPA.
Nice.
Oops, hang on a minute if this is, yeah. I'll just be one sec, guys.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna mute.
Everyone having an exciting morning?
No, I just woke up.
I just got
Same.
back from getting my oil changed.
God, you've been up? Ugh.
I've been up since like 7:30.
Yep.
I didn't fall asleep until like 3 a.m. So
Yeah, I hate those nights.
that's every night for me.
Bro,
Yeah.
I
Same.
fell asleep like at 12:30, I think.
I was up just with a killer headache all last night. It just wouldn't pass. So
Yeah,
well, at least
it
I got my
happens.
work. At least I got most of my work done. Ugh, this week sucks. I think I've got 2 tests plus like 2 labs.
Oh boy.
Only 2 labs. I
Oh.
keep forgetting that you guys are kind of IT and comp sci. That's
Mhm.
almost, that's, I mean, so obviously, I know I've said it, but I have 4 kids.
Mhm.
One of them is off the payroll, which is great. She did French law in Paris with French people, and no allowance for the fact that French might not have been her first language.
Oh, damn.
Oof.
And then she did an LLM in Cornell. So then the next one down is doing a double architecture and engineering in UT. And then the next
Nice.
one down is doing pre-med. He's
Wow.
doing biology and theater, acting.
Got some bright kids.
Oh, well.
Well, they're suckers for punishment. Although then the 4th one down, she's like doing a business major. And they are all like, business
Oh.
majors.
Yeah.
They are the least. They get the easy. Well, yeah, they do. I mean, they just get the easiest run of it. I'm just gonna say. So what you have to be, lads, is business majors. Although, I guess the heart wants what the heart wants. Fine. Experience. Right. Good. Yes. Comp sci and IT labs. Okay, so let's do. I'm gonna just throw in some California privacy crap, because it'll become the de facto privacy standard, except in states like Texas, where
And that'll be for environmental.
on the environmental, I just don't.
I mean, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, there's no really environmental risks to making what we're doing.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
What happened to the link? Because we were in the Discord. Did you say that the link for the meeting changes every time?
Yes, it'll always be different in the email. So if you go to the bottom of the email after everything Ian writes, you'll see join Microsoft Teams meeting. That's the link.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just didn't see that last time.
Yeah.
Or this time, I mean.
So that always will bring you here, and it changes every time.
Oh, maybe I did have the right one, Preston.
Okay. On environmental, I just had a little bit of a brainstorm. By the way, I dropped there. We'll do a little bit about print industry, maximizing the use of paper, and something about disposal of ink.
Oh, that is a good idea.
Yeah. Because why not? Again, as I've pointed out, one pile of bullshit does deserve another.
Exactly.
At some level, it's like, yeah, I don't know. You never know. Somebody might actually give a shit about that.
Somebody somewhere always will.
Yes. Well, again, it checks the box on the rubric.
Yeah.
That's key. Okay. Sounds like you guys have been busy. You know, what you see. One of the things that I'm adjusting to too, and again is, you know, this isn't your only gig.
Yep.
Mhm.
You have a lot else.
I wish
going
it
on.
were.
Yeah. But okay, good. So, well, first of all, welcome, Jonathan. Welcome back to Dallas. We
It's
missed
really
you.
good to be back.
Okay. I don't want to spend a lot. I mean, I get the impression that you guys like to do your own thing in your own space and time, so that it's not all working together, kumbaya. It can be, but I just don't think we're all there. So, I guess okay. Let's just walk through the status, right, and just do that. I mean, I know, but I'm not going to spend the full meeting time on this stuff, because I don't perceive that that's a great use of the time that we have. What I think would be a great use of the time we have is for me to send a couple of more pieces, and for us to for you guys to finish off what you've got. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Shagit, then I'm not I mean, again, I'm sensitive to the tight time frames that you've got and the other things that you've got on. Somebody does need to do document conventions and intended audience and reading suggestions, because I know I haven't done anything on that. And that's, I think, John. Any standards or typographical conventions, such as fonts or highlighting, right?
Yeah, it's kind of gimmicky.
Yeah, I would just say, hey, we followed the. I don't know. My brain. Somebody make some shit up there, because I am not touching it. My brain does not want to function that way. It can't, and I don't wish it to. But somebody take one for the team and just write something that isn't inappropriate. Same intended audience, I think, is actually quite good. What, like, I mean, who is the intended audience of this document? Obviously, the development team. But what are your thoughts on that? Pardon?
No, I was agreeing with you. Us and well, besides the professor.
Yeah, let's say Faisal, because he's a project sponsor. And
So that's 6 people.
7 people. Me.
Yeah.
I'm still working out exactly what my role is. but it's a good one, I know that. I just have to come up with a good title for it. I doubt very much we'll show this to anyone else. I don't see us, like, I've lined up a client, an actual live client. Bob Johnson is his name. Bob runs, I think, Edwards Printing Services. I've forgotten which one of the ones he runs. So the idea too is that we're going to break up next kind of phase or so into small groups to talk to him, and hopefully some of his staff, get some live requirements from, they have their own system. It was ironic, they call it an MIS system, Management Information Systems, which says to me that they probably want some reports. Next phase, obviously, we're going to start to do real things. Not that this hasn't been, because I do think we needed to gather a lot of data, get to the same place. There's still a lot of learning, guys, that needs to happen. But we'll learn as we do and do as we learn, which I think is a more productive way to learn.
Yeah.
But the next phase is to actually, 2 things. Obviously, there's Arif. I'm going to say Arif's name right. Arif. And Faisal, and kind of ask them more about the requirements than the technical implementation process.
Right.
Okay, well, that obviously was me on a tangent. But just to answer the first question, intended audience. That's our intended audience. And then
Yeah.
I think, as you know, there's content on the rest of that. References. Yeah. I am on point to do that. I will do that in the next hour or so. They're just kind of, here's all the pieces of stuff. A lot of it's obviously from Microsoft, but others are just from general. I'll just use some stuff in there. I think the product perspective, product functions, we're getting their user classes. I think I have one more to send there. Yeah. The environment, I think, is described. Who's doing the design and implementation constraint? That's Victor, right?
What does that mean? I think.
Describe any items or issues that will limit the options available. So that's going to be pretty easy. We're only going to use Microsoft. We're only going to use stuff that's on the Microsoft platform. We're going to use, Dynamics. Okay, so hardware limitation. There aren't any. Or at least there are, but we can refer to the performance section because that talks about up to 1,000 users. We're not going to get anywhere near that. Interfaces to other applications. We might mention Primac there, Primac, Primac, as the legacy Primac system is going to be a system that we integrate with. But we're going to use Azure SQL to do that. If you want to, you could break down each of these and just talk about. So just to share the talking stick, I'll show you what I'm looking at that way. Here, right. It would be relatively straightforward to just break this down. Hardware limitations is going to be Azure. Other applications, Primac. Specific technologies, Microsoft. Tools, databases, SQL Server. Language, we're just going to say it's English. This is honestly just a reprise in a different section of the same document of everything else we've done. But again, if it's to check the box, we'll check the box, right? And yes, the customer's organization will be responsible for, they won't, again, that's an interesting question in a SaaS, right? So the customer's organization will be responsible for adding users, updating the configuration, and for, kind of maintaining the data integrity, but not for maintaining the system. And again, I'm not going to waste your time with yet another philosophical rant about how the whole nature of what it means to maintain a system has changed, but that there's a fallacy out there that's a complete and incorrect understanding, which says that with SaaS, the provider does all the work and all the thinking.
Right.
I just want to, actually, I can show you a live example. This morning, I was running a report, and so customer sales analysis. So they were, this is one of them. The other one I want. And sure enough, somebody, oh, come on. I've already got it open. Somebody gave, customer sales and profitability. First of all, so somebody decided that one of our top customers should have a country region of Uganda.
Wait.
So now we have 115K of sales in Uganda. And that's not a system issue because it's not code. That's somebody put Uganda in there. And also somebody sometime last week did a mass update where they said inventory can't go negative. Well, that's fine, except that all of the sales items already have negative inventory. So accidentally, they prevented anyone selling anything. Again,
That's not good.
no, it's actually pretty bad. It's an easy enough fix when you know what you're doing, but who's supposed to do that? And that's kind of what okay, rant over. But it's just, by the way, this is Jet Report. It's a, and as you can see, this is what I mean when I talk about the fact that this is that you know, creating a report used to be a big deal and require a lot of coding. This is Excel, and it's using pivot tables, but it means that you can very quickly have an interactive drill-through report that, you know, this is the whole concept of low/no code, or again, you're not going to get an end user that has the time or expertise to do this, right? So it creates the illusion, oh, you can just do a report in Excel, but who the hell is going to have the insight and capability to do this? And that's really my whole thing about, you're still going to need technical resources, people who understand and can use technology, even if your delivery is Excel, right? And again, that might belong somewhere in this document, because I do think it's relevant, you know what I'm saying, to our design approach, to the development approach, which says, you know, we're going to be using things like Office, but we're going to be using them in ways that require a fair amount of technical insight, right? And the presentation to the user is good. And you see, this is the whole thing too, is that the lads don't use cost, don't associate cost with the individual items that they're selling as a convention, but that convention then has really significant reporting issues. And the reason I bring all that up is because I think the client that we're going to be talking to, when they talk about management information systems, they're usually talking about reports, and that's going to be their focus on the system, not its optimization of their utilization of machines. It'll just be interesting. You never know what an end user is going to really care about until you get talking to them. But so I digressed, but only slightly because it mattered. Where was I? Yeah. Okay. I think I owed something on this, so I better get on it. I will get on it. So that's two things.
Yeah.
Pages and the user doc and reference. Okay. And that's okay. I better not keep going down. And then Nick, I think I was going to do software interfaces. Somehow I'm missing what that is, but I think I was going to talk about common data. So that's 3 pages. That's my lot. Right? You guys can just figure out the rest. Okay. Yeah, that's done. That should be well understood. Template straight file. That's Kyle. Okay. And then Hunter, you felt pretty confident on your sections, right?
Yeah, I finished security as well. I went in and updated that. Good.
And then I think my 4th page was going to be legal and social. Legal, social, and environmental. Again, that's just 1 page. And it's just about the different privacy laws, SOX, SOD. Everybody familiar? I mentioned SOD, SOD, SOX and SOD. They're kind of related, but they're not the same. SOD is separation of duties, and SOX is Sarbanes-Oxley. And that's usually a great way to get an accountant's attention. Talk about those. Okay, grand. So is all of this? I'm going to send looks like 4 pages. That won't take as long. I don't think it'll take that long. What else? What else should we talk about here? When, like, is it correct to say that the document is Google Docs and that in terms of a review or edit, that's what we should be looking at, that Google Doc link?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, we're all using Google Docs to edit it.
Okay. How are you guys feeling about your deliverable?
Good.
Good,
Yeah. I'm pretty good at what I managed to get in earlier. Everyone should just. I didn't know how I should go about the introduction, but I think just like labeling the core of what we were doing. So if everyone could just take a look at that, just to make sure with the meetings that I missed. And then I think I was handling the assumptions and dependencies.
Good. There's a document called Section 1 that I sent.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah. So that's got a fair amount of content.
Okay. I'll just go back and make sure everything is solid.
Definitely. Again, it hopefully is a good starting point, or a good. It's more than a starting point. So hopefully that. Okay. In which case, do we want to just touch? That was 27 minutes of me doing a lot of talking again. Do we want to just ready break and then maybe get back together later this afternoon to just do some final kind of chat through, see if there's. What I would say is, look, today is the last real day, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody's feeling confident. Great. Because it's much less fun to feel like, oh, Jesus, a mess. So I want to do my little 4 pieces, send those out, and then do we all want to get together again just one last time, or either, I guess this evening, I don't know about you guys, but I don't enjoy completely last minute. I mean, if this is relatively okay by, like, I don't know, 6:30 today, do we want to call it done? And
Yeah,
does
sure.
6:30 work for you guys?
I should, yeah.
That'll be
'cause
fine.
I'm gonna
For
be
like a
working on-
meeting?
Pardon?
Oh, like 6:30 for a meeting?
Yeah, just a quick.
Yeah, I think that does. I might be a few minutes late, but
I might not be able to attend that because I have class.
No worries. I mean, that's the that's the whole beauty of Teams. We can pick up the slack for each other. You know what I mean? And it's not just slack, but we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and I will match this recording and that recording together for a video.
Good. Okay. Let's call it 6. Again, it's one of those things where if there's something missing, it would be good to know it by 6:30. If there's like, hey, what I would ask is between now and 6:30, do finish your piece, and then
That's what I'll
B,
be doing.
have a read of the whole lot, right? And form a thought, an opinion about, hey, does it flow? You know what I mean? So that when we meet at 6:30, it's like, and this is going to require a certain amount of, I don't know, bravery on everybody's part to say, okay, well, this doesn't connect. Could this help connect so that it's a document that feels like, yes, 6 people have worked on it, but that it flows. See what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll endeavor to do the same. In case you haven't noticed, I always have opinions. Some of them are actually okay, and some of them are just like, well, So, you know, there is two purposes to the document. One, the most important, which is to get the grade, and then the next is to actually use it, right? I'd like to get both outcomes, but if it's a choice between one and the other, it's get the grade. But let's, because you know, we will do the work. It will get to be done. So, okay, that's what I would ask. Finish your piece, read the whole thing. You know, we'll bring positive suggestions to that 6:30, and then the suggestions may or may not require somebody to change something. But we'll all be okay with that, right? Because as you may have noticed, I do not care if you change anything I've written.
Yeah.
It's, I'm not invested in my pride of authorship on this stuff. What I'm more invested in is outcome. So
Yeah.
just as you know. Okay, good.
Sounds good.
10:31. We'll break on that. I've got some things to do. 4 bloody pages, and I'm going to get on them. Okay?
Sounds good.
And we'll set something up for 6:30 if you can make it grand. If you can't, just send what you think, right? Just send your ideas. Email them to the group, and that way they're included in the kind of final review.
I will do that. Sounds good.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Good.
Oh,
Thanks.
last thing. I think you touched on this earlier, Ian. You said with let me find it real quick. The document conventions with the font, you said you didn't really care much for that, just to handle that. So I wanted to ask an idea of what we should do, because it was asking about like italics and fonts, and I just put the outline that the professor wanted for us in addition to the specifications we should meet for at least Microsoft and a corporation or a corporate environment.
Yeah. What I would say on that is that the convention, that we'll just use the documents convention, the template provided, and that it's comprehensive, because God knows it's comprehensive, and that it will make it easier to. Well, okay. So what I would do is just say we will conform to the current template, which we can adapt our approach, which is off the ship. It's a ERP implementation approach, and map into the current document structure, which makes it easier for everyone.
Okay.
That sounds good.
All right. Get on that.
Something fluffy like that.
As I said, as I said, the PMO, which is the professor that must be obeyed, or the project management office, which is usually the professor who must be obeyed. I don't mind that at all. We don't have a corporate standard to adhere to. We have a UNT standard to adhere to, and we will. So it's just all we need to say on that subject.
Yeah.
And then as questions come up, just email me. I'll do my best to kind of pay attention to emails coming in. And then we'll go from there. Okay?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right.
Good. Cheers, everyone.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.